Hello.
Hello, Ian and friend. Who else do we have here?
Hi, guys.
Hey, there she is.
Hey.
Welcome, Michelle, to the Sweet, Sweet Hang.
It's so nice to be here.
You're our first hang.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Is that what we're officially calling this series? Is the Sweet Hangs?
Sweet hang. I've been thinking about it as a hang, but a sweet hang. Yes. I think I like that.
It's not just a hang, it's a sweet hang. We've had people on, but we're doing something different. We're doing it a little bit different this time. We're going to put out extra content because you know what the people want? Extra content.
More
They want
of
more.
us. They can't get enough.
No.
There's not enough of us.
So
I didn't know
I
it's
think
going
the
to be
three
a
of
hang,
us have known
actually.
each other for a super long time. But
Yeah.
Michelle, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Michele Hansen. I am CEO and co-founder of Geocodio. You might also know me from my work with my book, Deploy Empathy, a practical guide to interviewing customers, which first came out 4 years ago, and then an updated edition came out in August. I've also done other stuff, like I co-hosted the Software Social podcast,
Great podcast.
with Colleen Schnettler for 2.5 years. I want to say it was every single week for 2.5 years. We were on the mics talking about my company, Geocodio, as well as Colleen's companies that she was getting started.
Adventures.
Several companies in there. The archive is still online. It's like 2020 to 2022 we did it. You can still find it in a podcast app near you. I don't know. I've done other stuff too, but I think that's a
good resume. Yeah.
I think that's the highlights. Yeah.
I love Geocodio. To me is like the quintessential Laravel company. I don't know. I have some very strong association with you guys and Laravel for some reason. Like it's very tight in my brain, and I'm just like, that is like the bootstrapped Laravel company.
Why isn't it you? Like Laravel literally came out of
don't
your
give him
company,
any credit. Don't
and
do that.
it would not exist if you hadn't been like, hey Taylor, like maybe you should do this thing.
No,
like
don't.
I don't think that's
like,
not true. That's not true. I think I gave it a little bit of a speed boost by letting him work on it full time for a while. So that was true. But see, but my stuff's not Laravel in its heart. You know what I mean? It didn't start as Laravel. It was pre-Laravel.
Because Laravel wasn't around, so it's
I
not
know,
like...
that's what I'm saying. But that's my point. Like, of the generation that came up in the early days, Laravel's just getting started. Look, I'm sure there's more out there, right? Obviously, Laravel's a huge framework, lots of companies. I don't know, but you guys always stick in my head. I'm like, Geocodio, that's
it also
the Laravel
helps
company.
that they sponsor. They're very involved. They sponsor the conferences. They've got TJ Miller, who's the Prism guy, and so they're like very involved in the community. So I feel like that helps a whole lot.
I also think it's because your app is so like codey. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not like a lot of UI in Geocodio. Like I know it's not like a UI is first type app. It's like give us data and we give you data. It's like all data's flying around, right? Like it's like just to be a very like
Ian
server side, like like it's just all that kind of stuff. I don't know. Just sticks in my head.
I feel like Matthias should be here because he's the one who was at the first Laracon, and like I was just holding down the fort at home. Like I wasn't doing anything.
You were,
but yeah, I mean we have I guess
one.
been built on Laravel since the very beginning, and Matthias, my co-founder, our CTO, also my husband. I mean, he's been super involved, and I mean, I guess I met you, Ian, through Laravel World. I met you at the speakers dinner at Laracon 2017. New York. I am still convinced that like you and I were backstage, and it was at the theater where I think I've told you the story. It was at the theater where Avenue Q used to be. Used to play, and for anyone who doesn't know Avenue Q, it's a show using puppets. We'll just call it that. And
it's like a Broadway puppet show.
I can't decide if I should or should not look that up later.
Show. Yeah, Aaron, I think you probably don't want to look it up.
No,
but anyway, puppets. And there was this like room backstage, and I think when you're like getting mic'd up or whatever, they have to feed wires through and whatever. I feel like they took us into the puppet room. And I remember going in there, and I feel like you were with me, but maybe it was somebody else. Maybe this person is listening, but I'm pretty sure it was you. We like went in there, And it was just this big closet full of all these puppets on the walls. And it was like, it was really, it was
Ian
really
would
wild.
remember that.
It was really wild.
That.
And I remember there was
got
like the
blank
stagehand
face.
guy was there. And I was like, wow. I was like, is it okay? Like, can I take a picture of this? And the guy is like, he was like, no, when puppets aren't being operated, they are considered dead. And I was like, oh my God. Like this room just went from like mildly creepy to like incredibly creepy. And anyway, so in my head, like that Laracon, like I remember having a really great time at the speakers dinner and meeting you and Justin and Matt and Taylor and Abigail and like a whole bunch of other people. And the room full of dead puppets. I don't really remember anything about being on stage. I think I had bronchitis. But like
there's like a 40% chance this didn't happen.
That is what I remember.
It sounds like a NyQuil fever dream or something.
Maybe I was just everywhere. Like hopped up on cough drops and
that sounds.
See, I definitely remember meeting you at the speaker dinner. I do not remember the room full of dead puppets though. That's the thing. Like that's the thing. And I wasn't speaking and I wasn't running them at that point. So, I mean, I was hanging around, like I was around. So it's like possible I was backstage and passing through, but I definitely I don't know. I don't feel like I remember us having a moment where a guy was like that.
An executive producer, maybe. You didn't really have responsibilities. Sure. You weren't even really supposed to be there, but
maybe
you were
doing
there.
A stage pitch or something. That's why you were there. Like, I don't know.
Michelle, I have this dream.
Maybe it was somebody else. Maybe they're
I have this dream to be an executive producer. This is my goal. Like this software.
What
is
does
just
an executive producer do?
Yes, exactly. That's the beauty of it. That's what I'm talking about. I just get to hang out, maybe cast a few people, put some notes in on the scripts. Go to the parties, take the credit when it does great, just ignore it when it bombs. Like I just want to be executive producer. I think it's such a good job.
Is that the Seth Rogen show that's on Apple TV now? Is he an executive? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I actually wanted to see that, but I haven't
think I've
watched it yet.
Like half an episode of that, so I am very qualified to speak about it on a podcast because I am an expert in it now.
Exactly.
I feel like he's like that type of person, right? Who just
I think you're right.
You just want to swan in basically and be like, you just like watch a scene and you're like, no, actually, he needs to say this. And then like you just adjust the scripts and like they redo it and everyone is like, and then you just leave.
Oh gosh.
And they're just like, Landsman's coming in today, so make sure we got the extra donuts for him and make sure we get him some flunky.
Did we
fly
in the bagels this morning? Did we fly? Did they arrive? Like, we cannot put the LA ones out. No, they have to be from New York.
Yes. That's exactly what I'm talking
Is there real
about.
maple syrup from the catering today?
Oh, yes. Yes, just yesterday, we went to a breakfast place, me and Jamie, having a nice little breakfast. They don't have real maple syrup. What am I supposed to do with pancakes with fake
Is this in New York State
syrup?
this happens?
Yes.
How do they even have a business license? Like, that's not allowed?
Infuriating. There is no substitute for real maple syrup.
Ridiculous.
Let's just start there. So anyway, you're exactly right.
Yeah,
I need
it's
the real
a hot
maple
take
syrup.
of the day.
Yes. Maybe I carry little ones with me.
Just like an elf. Just like take it out of your shirt
off
sleeve.
The rails.
This was actually like
not an interview. It's a hang.
My one concern with this, like going into this, was like, oh dear God, like Aaron is going to be fighting for his life, like between me and Ian, just like two Northeasterners talking over each other, having the time of our lives. And you just like sitting there like waiting for a pause. And it's like, bro, there is not going to be a pause. Like you just got to go head first. Like
at Laracon there, it was like, we had a table with like 4 other people. These other people didn't speak the entire time. It was just me and Michelle talking over.
Well, no, they spoke amongst themselves.
I guess we shuffled them.
Yeah, they actually apparently had a very nice conversation.
We didn't hear any of it. We weren't participating.
No.
We had our own thing going on. Anyway, I don't know. So what should we go next? What should we do here?
So Aaron, I'm surprised actually you're here because I was listening last week and you were talking about the you wanted to like go on your like little mini self retreat.
My vision
and I was
quest?
like, yeah, your vision quest. And I was like, oh, you know what? Since I'm going to be on Monday, like, is Aaron going to like take that opportunity and be like, I don't have to record today. Like, I'm going to go Monday, Tuesday, figure out my life. But you're here.
I'm here.
Are you still going to go figure out your life this week or?
Next week. The vision quest is next week. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm going, I think, 2 nights to a little cabin in East Texas. So I live in Dallas. East Texas is a little more country, rural, and so I found an Airbnb that's on like 30 acres or something, and it looks like a writer's retreat, but it's very, modern, cool little Airbnb cabin. And so yeah, I'm going next week. I'm gonna figure everything out. I've only got 2 days, but hopefully in that time I'll figure out all of life and everything I want to be. So stay tuned.
So like, do you have a schedule for yourself, like, for that, or
No, not yet.
Okay.
So somebody, apologies, I forget who, reached out and said like, "Hey, I do a quarterly work retreat or like a solo work retreat like this, and here's like the process I go through." And so I might do something like that. I might have like a schedule, but at this point, I haven't nailed anything down yet.
I'm excited for you.
Yeah, I like this idea. I don't know about the schedule thing.
Yeah,
Well,
don't
I mean, just like
either.
kind of like structure.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't
Yeah.
know, like 9 to 11 a.m., like meaning of life, 11, coffee, lunch, 1 o'clock, what are my career goals? I don't know. I just didn't know if you
It would
had like,
keep you from getting off track, I guess, of like, I'm just
Yeah.
gonna,
yeah, kind of
but then
just
maybe
trying to
the
like scope it a bit. Like,
but then maybe the point is to be off track. See, that's the thing I never know. It's like, if
but
I'm
how are you
here
going to
doing
get your
nothing,
brain on the right off track?
I guess this
'Cause
is
you
gonna
could
be
end
more
up off track in
active.
a
This
lot
is
of
more
ways.
active. This isn't really like you resting.
No,
This is
no,
more.
it's not really a rest thing. It's
Yeah.
me. So one is I'll be completely, off the grid. I'll still be
Right.
reachable. But I'm not gonna be like watching TV or looking at Twitter. So that'll be helpful already. I'll be wandering around, hopefully in the woods. I mean,
Don't get lost.
yeah, seriously. There's a bunch of land right out the back door. There's a little fire pit and everything. So yeah, I am leaning towards no schedule at the moment. Maybe I'll have like a list of, questions that will help me, spark
That's
something.
what I was thinking.
Yeah,
Yes,
like
just
discussion questions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a
Discuss with
bullet
yourself.
list of ideas or thoughts or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep you stay focused without being so rigid.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I think like kind of like basically like how can you like prime your brain to like get it going on the top? Like I feel like this is how I tend to think. Like, and I also spend a lot of time walking through like woods and stuff to like decompress or try to like do strategic thinking or whatever that is. But like sometimes I feel like it's just a matter of like, how do I like preload stuff into my brain that is directionally helpful for what it is I'm trying to figure out? And then I just kind of let it percolate, right? And I don't know when it is I'm going to actually start actively thinking about it or have a breakthrough on it. But it's like, if I just preload my brain and I let it sit there and kind of simmer, like, and then, yeah, as you said, like kind of take yourself out of your, out of the digital world first and then out of all of your, everyday responsibilities and everything. Like, yeah, I guess that was more as like, how are you like approaching like prepping your brain to get into that space?
You got to prime your context.
See, Ian, big
Yeah.
AI guy.
It's all AI.
We are
AI.
right. Like, if this is a Claude project, what are we loading into
What's
the
in
project?
your context? Yes.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. So,
but you are going to run out of tokens at some point, so not too much.
Oh, very quickly.
Not too
Yes,
much.
extremely quickly. Yes. So I think a big part of it is the no responsibilities thing. Like I don't have a lot of time right now where I can just kind of sit and think. Like it's either I'm here trying to get a bunch of stuff done or I'm at home trying to be a good dad. And then I go back and forth between the two. There's never been, or there hasn't been in a long time, even just like a couple of days where I'm just like, I don't have anything to do. I can just sit around and like scheme. So that's a big part of it. And I do think there are a couple specific questions I want to answer. Am I enjoying what I'm doing? Do I want to stay on social media at all? Like if I don't want to stay on social media, does that mean I can't run this business? I don't know. So stuff like that where it's like, what do I want out of my life, and is what I'm doing getting me closer to that or not? So just little questions.
It's gonna be a banger episode. Whew.
Oh man,
I'm excited. The content's gonna be fantastic.
It's gonna be great content.
I feel like we should be paying you for this. Like we should
I
like mostly
agree.
technical should be paying for this
I
little
agree.
adventure. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. This should be a business expense.
Yeah.
Well, then also you
everything
could get
is.
your moisturizer company to like sponsor it as well, and then you just do a
I
little
know.
SpawnCon while you're at this idyllic little East Texas resort, and like be like, I'm taking a
Nothing.
break from my deep thinking. Nothing
Yeah.
restores me
Yeah,
quite
exactly.
like Neutrogena water gel, like or
I'm
whatever. it is.
super offline
God,
to
I love
relax.
this.
Now here's my sponsor. Yeah, that's gonna work.
Love this idea. Jamie's been poking around a little bit on some outbound for some sponsors, maybe like break us out of our like having only our Laravel Circle sponsors into some, more me type brands. Trigina. I don't think she's done that one yet. We got to get that one in
Yeah,
there.
what brand
I
of
like that.
moisturizer are you using, Aaron? I'm
She's done a
not
couple things.
trying to test you on whether you're still using the moisturizer.
No, that's
but
fine.
I just realized
I am.
kind of.
He is. Look at his
It's,
glow. You can see it.
I mean,
Shine.
also between his
I look so Dewy
moisturizer and his
Fresh.
lighting, honestly,
I
that's your
know.
next course, Aaron, is how
the
to
hair.
get glowing skin on camera and hair.
Guys, this is great.
This should
for
be
me.
part of the screencasting course for sure.
All right,
No,
it is
no,
called.
actually.
Yeah, no, really.
It is called. The moisturizer is Avene.
Aveeno?
No, AVE with a little slanty guy on top of it. NE.
Okay.
AVENE.
Okay.
And then the face wash is the same one that Jamie uses. La Roche-Posay.
Oh, that's a good one. They have a good moisturizer too.
Oh, look at
That's what I'm
that.
saying. See? Yeah. I actually need to buy some more moisturizer. Here's the thing.
You're already through it? Holy
I'm
cow.
already through it. It gets expensive. What's going on
Have you
here?
discovered the world of Korean skincare?
No.
Ooh.
Oh, that's
I don't
nice.
think I can afford that. Also, that seems a little. It seems a little.
My
too
12-year-old is
finicky.
really into it. Like
Yeah.
her skincare routine is much more expensive
My
than mine.
12-year-old has a big skincare routine too. I don't know. I've tried to break her of this, but it's not working.
One of my friends was like, one of my like mom friends was saying how like, teen and like tween girls now, they're obsessed with like skincare and Starbucks and Lululemon. And she's like, they just like skipped to being 40-year-old women.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know. Was it always that way? I obviously I don't have the insight of being a 12-year-old girl, but I guess it seems like this is new then, it sounds like.
No, I
Okay.
didn't start using moisturizer till like 5 years ago. So
Okay.
you're in good company. Are you using moisturizer?
Me? No, I'm not a moisturizer.
No, of course
man.
he's not.
Well, what about do you use like
I'm a
beard
manly
oil
man with
or like
beards.
do you got beard
Nah. I
moisturizer
tried
going on?
I tried the beard oils, but it's all like I don't like the sensation of the beard oil. And I don't let the beard get big enough to like really benefit from the beard oil anyway. Like I'm not shaping it and doing weird things. So yeah, no, I'm not really. I'm trying to limit I'm like seeing if I can get rid of brushing my teeth. You know what I mean? I'm trying to go the other direction. Here. Like, I
Flossing?
want less
Bridge
stuff
too
to
far.
do. Yeah, I want less things to do. I want Elon to make a robot that like while I'm sleeping, like it just does stuff.
Oh, like
it
Wallace and
trims my
Gromit.
beard. Oh, I haven't.
Yeah, no, he has like all those machines that like come down and like dress him, right? Like have you seen
Yes,
Wallace and
that's what I
Gromit?
want.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
I've
it's
never
like a
seen
machine
it.
that comes down, it shaves him, like and
Yes.
he goes down a slide and his breakfast is ready, and like when he goes down the
Mhm.
slide, his shirt goes on. Yeah.
I don't know if I've talked about this on the show, but my father has this genius idea. Okay, and it's he's not big into like getting foofied up and stuff, even less than me. And he always
That's the name of Aaron's course. Is getting foofied up to be on camera.
Getting foofy
It's
with
kind
Aaron
of pejorative,
Francis.
but sure, let's keep going.
He always liked this idea of okay, so a roll of paper at like in like an art class, like a big spool of paper that you can take and rip off, or like for tabletops or whatever, right? But for clothing. So you rip off your outfit for the day, right? You put it on. At the end of the day, you just rip it off, you throw it away, and you can have infinite outfits, right? Every day is a different outfit, and it's all disposable or recyclable. And that's it.
Okay,
So he's basically making hospital gowns cool? Is that
Yes, but
this
I
is
think you gotta
not
find
your
the
best
technology.
idea.
We need
It's
the
not your-
technology.
It might be your worst idea, though.
It's not my idea. I'm setting my father up
This
here.
is a
to be
free
No.
business idea for
No.
everybody listening.
Yeah.
Go
This
code
is
it up
maybe
right
your
now.
worst. This is
I
worse
think this is kind of
than
a good
being
idea.
close to releasing outro and doing Laravel new. This is worse
Laravel
than that.
new.
Oh man,
Laravel new,
that's
baby.
such a like 80% through a project, and it's like I'm gonna ditch it to make disposable clothing. Like
Yeah.
that is
Yes, what
that's
a story.
classic.
They'll have me on the Today Show and all the big podcasts. Yeah. All right, before we go to the next thing, we got pay bills. Pay bills. And we have
we got a special treat for y'all today.
Special treat. So we've brought Michele into the fold to do one of the ad reads.
I'll start. So Michele, you get mentally prepared.
Okay,
I'll start.
That's good.
Okay, I'm gonna preload, get the context window going of what it
Get
sounds
ready.
like on Mostly Technical. Okay,
Exactly. This episode is brought to you by Native PHP and Bifrost, the fastest way to build native mobile apps and ship them to your users on Android and iOS. Build with Native PHP and distribute with Bifrost. Plans starting at $19 a month, and all subscriptions get a free Native PHP license so you can start building right away. So you can check out this remote build tool at bifrost.nativephp.com. Michele.
This episode of Mostly Technical is brought to you by Bento, all-in-one email marketing platform. Send your product, marketing, and transactional email with Bento. One app, all your marketing needs. Also run by a very nice person, Jesse, who gives incredible support. We're planning to migrate to it soon at Geocodio. I'm trying to hire a marketing person right now, and I was just telling someone not half an hour ago that one of their first tasks is going to be to get us set up on Bento. So that's bentonow.com.
Wow. There we go.
Flawless.
All right. And our final sponsor this week is honeybadger.io. Move fast and fix things with all-in-one application monitoring for Laravel, Rails, and more. Check them out at honeybadger.io. Wow, you nailed that. That was great.
That was perfect.
I listen to a lot of podcasts. I don't feel like I've ever heard the guest do the ad spot.
No.
So I feel like we're breaking ground here. We are breaking ground. See, we can do this with you because you're a professional. You know about the podcasting. You got the shtick. You like went right into like audio ad woman voice, right? Like it was spot on. Fantastic.
You know, so my experience goes back further than that, actually. When I was in high school and college, I was a radio DJ.
Oh,
and we had to. Oh, actually, we didn't have to read PSA. There was like public service announcements we had to play every 15 minutes or half an hour. But then we always had to do like station reads and stuff like that. And like I remember my mom, after listening to one of my first shifts, being like, "Wow, I didn't realize you could be so articulate." But I guess like you guys just like heard how I talk, like especially with Ian, like fast and like just.
It's perfect for the radio. Just fly right through it.
You're listening to Mostly Technical. Like,
but you can bring it down there when you need to, for the sponsors. So it's fine.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. All right. I don't know. I have a topic here that I want to talk about. Aaron,
we
do you
love
have
a topic.
A specific topic? Or
no, give us a topic.
All right, I have a topic. And this is one of these things where like the universe has come together. It's conspired for this moment because we have the expert in talking to your customers on the show. Okay. I'm not really a big talk to your customers kind of person, if you can imagine that. Not that I'm like against talking to my customers, but I'm not really one to like be like, oh, let me like interview some customers and see what they're up to necessarily. Now, Matt Stauffer, friend of the show, friend of all of ours, invited me to come check out their podcast production flow. So for outro, so I could see what was going on. So the end of last week, we had this call with Matt and his assistant, Kayla, and they took me through their whole production thing. And it was unbelievable. I like got so many insights. It was fantastic. And I didn't even know what I was doing. I didn't even ask any questions really. But like, so I did it all wrong, but still it was great. So I don't know. I feel like this could kick us off into some of your expertise here, Michele. But like, I was just doing a single one of these where I was just like, hey, show me what you're doing. And it like radically is going to change some of the things I do with outro. So it's good at Laravel Nude, by the way, but also continue.
I want to hear what you learned. Like, what did you, we can talk about how you did the interview so poorly in a second, but what did you learn? What did you learn from talking to your customers?
So I think what was interesting is, one thing was that outros are already going to be sort of Trello-like, because I feel like that's a good model for like having multiple episodes and moving things between them and stuff like that. So that was kind of my thinking. But I didn't go all the way with it, I would say, in my V1 version. And V2 is going to go much farther, I think, because I saw how they're using it and they're doing, it's crazy. They're very organized with everything. They have potential guests, book guests, all the shows out into the future, but they're moving stuff between them. They have like 60 checklist items for every show down to like every tweet every edit, every little step of the whole process is super, super planned. So I think to me, the main thing was like Outro I already conceive of as more of a show for, or more, well, I don't know. We've talked about this before. I'm a little waffly here, but I think it needs to be able to accommodate a highly structured show. And so this was a nice insight into a highly structured show that's really dotting all the I's and crossing all the T's in a very structured manner. And so really getting to see all that, I was like, okay, like even things like the to-dos, for example. Here's a very specific thing. I had envisioned the to-dos as more like kind of around the episode, but not like part of the episode. But I think
Okay.
I'm going to change that to where it's like, this is a single view of the episode. There's like to-dos, there's segments, there's more to-dos after. And then like when you're actually recording, there'd be a way to like hide all those to-dos because you don't necessarily want them while you're recording, but it's like you have the full picture right there. When you're done recording, you still see the show, but now it's like just the to-dos that remain undone, right? But it's still on your board. So it's like on the left, you'll have like recorded, but not done, not finished in production, upcoming, you know, and then planned, kind of all right there. So some of these things kind of existed in Outro already, but it was really seeing them, especially I think around the to-dos. And if you're working with a producer or other team members and things like that, that's kind of the really big takeaway. But also just the letting it wash over me part of like seeing it in use in this way was fascinating. And also I think some of the guest features, that was the other main area. I hadn't really considered so much the like CRM aspect of potential guests. Whereas like, so they're doing like just guest shows, right? Like their shows are just guests. They're not like shooting the shit. They're just, every show's a guest. So they have like a huge list of like potential guests and things like that, and notes about when they emailed them or contacted them and all that stuff. So like, so having some of that stuff in there be a little more fleshed out than I was probably thinking it to be initially. If you're running an interview type show, which I think is a really good use case for Outro, having that be all integrated so you don't need another tool or whatever, blah, blah. Yeah. So those are kind of the big takeaways, but it was also just a cool thing to see and really absorb. So
I'm really excited
Michelle?
for you. I think especially for like, I find that like developers who like, oh, why would I like talk to my customers? Like, why would I do like this interviewing thing? Like is waste of time. Like I don't know. I don't have time for that. Right. And then actually getting to see somebody use the product, either the product that they work on or something, you know, that their product would replace, like you did. That is such a like light bulb moment for people, to be able to see like, oh my God, like this is what you're doing right now, whether that's your own product or watching them do something else. And like, and I think especially like developers like want to solve things, want to make things better for people. And like, you know, I really hope you find somebody who's managing the whole thing in spreadsheets, because that would, you would be so excited. Like, you know, be like, oh, this is horrifying, right? And that's going to be so inspiring for you. But like, even if it's people who are working on a product that already exists, like, I mean, there is nothing that unites a team like buddies sitting in a room watching a user just try to find the login button for their product, and everyone's like, no, 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 no.
It's
Like,
over there.
you want to get the mouse like over into the top right hand corner, and they're just like going everywhere else, and they're back in their inbox. And you're like, no, 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 you were on the page. No, you were so close. Like it's like you really have to like I think seeing the struggle, and then I think that kind of paves the way for like digging into it more and like understanding the overall process, understanding like the different pieces that they're doing, and understanding the struggle, which is sometimes expressed directly of like, we find it a real pain to manage guests, or it's implicit and they're like, well, we've got this here, we've got Trello for managing the episodes, but then we've got this spreadsheet over here of the potential guests, but then we also like this person over here is emailing them, and then like we're also DMing them sometimes, and it's like, well, that struggle there, right? There's like a lot of different tools and nothing is really solving it, right? And so I'm super excited for you that you had like you had the moment when you're like, oh, this is actually useful and exciting. I have two questions. Well, I'm gonna have more, but okay. What was something that surprised you?
Yeah, so that's, I definitely want to talk about this. So a big like kind of one of the best parts about it was just even that they're using Trello to do this, right? And I expected that. I know Trello is a big tool. People used to do this. But when I saw like the sophistication level of it, I was surprised by like, I mean, they're really digging in there to like all the features that Trello has, right? And so then that was making me think like, okay, that kind of reinforced my belief in Outro a bit, because it's like, yes, you can do this with Trello. If you go crazy deep on Trello, right, and you become a Trello expert, you could do a lot of what Outro will do. But it's like, that's not like the average person. Like Matt's a professional software developer, right? And like Kayla's super organized, and like they've built this system over years, right? So like if we can get people to like the years of organization on the first day, instead of having to invent the system that gets you to that level of organization completely on your own, that seems like something people will be like, oh, now all this stuff, I didn't even know what I was going to do with it, or things I've dropped the ball on in the past because I didn't have a check sheet for it, or I did, but it was in a different spot from the show and blah, blah, blah. Like, that, I don't know. I thought that was kind of like a thing that surprised me, was seeing how sophisticated it was. And, but also, yeah, I don't know. There's just a lot there in that part of it, of like a tool dedicated to this could give you all this, but it would be simpler and it would be able to guide you through it as somebody who hasn't spent 2 years building this process, right? So yeah. All right.
This is good. This is big.
Well, okay, so
it's so funny.
So this was like pretty exciting, but like, why you said that you feel like you probably did it wrong?
Well, I'm saying I didn't use any formal techniques. I just showed up on the Zoom and they walked me through it, right? So that was kind of in that regard.
Yeah, but I think if you got these insights out of it, you walked out of it like inspired and
absolutely,
ready to march over to Claude and tell him what to do.
That's right.
I think you did it right if you had this experience of it, right? Like you got the essence of the experience. Actually, that reminds me of something I was thinking about this morning, and wanted to find time to write a blog post about and didn't have time.
Never happened.
Like, so you've been talking about how you've been like mostly vibe coding this, right? And I think there's a lot of people who come from the customer research world, the product world, the design world, who feel, who feel kind of like threatened by like LLMs, and that people are gonna, interview an LLM rather than going to talk to a user. And like, I mean, there's companies that are like designed around this, but like even like the guy who like runs one of those companies has already said like, this will not replace talking to humans. But I was thinking, I was like, you know what? I think I actually have like a contrary take on this to most of my community, which is actually, I think that with vibe coding, the need for customer research and customer interviews only becomes greater, right? When the cost of building something like goes from months of like development time to like, you just, you make the specs with Claude, right? And then it just runs with it. Yeah. Right. You do the full Microsoft giant spec thing, right? As you said, right. Like, and then and then you just let it go, right? Well, if you can have it build anything, what it's building in the first place is all the more important, because it doesn't matter how many projects you whip up and throw at the wall if you're not building something that people actually need, that's based on understanding their real human, often weird and quirky and nonsensical workflows, and like why they have these problems in the first place. And so I think like, if you want to be able to like, now that people can like vibe code stuff, I think that's all the more important that you're doing customer research and you're talking to people to understand what they need, because there's no point in spending all of this time building things up if nobody's ever going to buy them. And the only way to figure that out still is understanding people.
Yeah. And I mean, there's that angle on it, and also the angle of like, you need to build something that's going to stand out, right? Now there's even going to be even more competition, right? Because there's just going to be hundreds of competitors in every single field, because people are going to whip stuff together in a week or a month or 6 months even, right? It's still going to be faster and more than it used to be. And so, and then it just makes it more economical to go after different markets and things like that. So yeah, what's going to be your competitive advantage, and how do you obtain that? And being willing to talk to people when other people don't like to talk to people, like me.
You love talking to people, though. Don't tell me that you don't like talking to people.
I do like talking to people. I don't know. It's weird. It's like standard dev stuff, right? I'd rather be building the thing than thinking about what I should be building. Do you know what I mean?
But you got to think about what you should be building. Otherwise, you might build something that nobody's ever going to use, right?
I know. That's most of the stuff I built, to be honest, right? I've got one good one. I got one that people wanted to use. And 1.5. I got 1.5 that people wanted to use. And the rest, not so much. But that's all right. But yes, that's why I should be talking to people. That's why it was great to do this. And I want to do several more before I get into post Laravel new, but before coding, I want to do a couple more of these. So actually, if you're out there and listening and you want to show me your production workflow for podcast, hit me up, or YouTube kind of show type of thing. Either one, let me know because I would love to come chat with you.
Very project management-y, which I know Outro has been like, that's kind of been the vision from the beginning. But this sounds even more like process flow, project management heavy versus like podcast specific. It is project management for podcasts almost. Does that seem right?
Yes, I think that's the direction it's turning a little bit, is more into that direction. Yes, yeah.
I guess so. Like, what is the thing that makes someone want to switch, right? Like, if they have spent 2 years building up this process, what is the thing that's going to make them ditch that to go to Outro?
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't think like they would be, and I even talked about this with them. Like, I don't think that they would necessarily be the first customers for this. Like, I don't think that's not my takeaway from that, is that they probably shouldn't switch because they built this whole thing up and they're using it and it's working. And I think it's fine. I think it's more that like, to build something up like this, to make these successful podcasts, actually is this huge amount of work. You're going to have tons of trial and error, all that stuff. So to me, it's more of like catching people probably a little bit either earlier,
get them early,
or people that are doing it and successful, but are not organized about it. And they're just, yes, they're successful sort of in spite of that. Right. And so maybe they're in a spreadsheet, for example, where like you said, like that, I think we can get the spreadsheet people in because it can organize things, but there's a lot of pain if you're just working in only a spreadsheet, right? Versus like, email notifications or all the different kinds of things we can have in Trello or in Outro, that like Trello is giving them some of those things already. So again, if you built it all out with all the different power ups, all the level of things that they're doing, you can do some of that, but instead it doesn't do the other things too, like sponsorships and having the ads be placed right in episodes for you. And, so the having the guest connected directly to the episode without you doing all this stuff. Like right now, in their case, they use Calendly to get the scheduling. And then in Calendly, they're asking them questions like, how do you say your name and upload your headshot? And all those things have to be manually moved into Trello. So there will be these other elements. I think there's also like some AI ideas I have for like maybe helping people develop segments and things like that. There's like transcript search, which like this is the thing that came up with them that they wish they had, that they don't have, is to be able to like real time search your transcript from past episodes. So that's where I think some of the existing advanced users could come in for some of those other like podcast specific features that these generic tools just don't have. But yeah, I also think to some degree, like getting people earlier or people who are less organized is going to be kind of the main customer, more so than like somebody who's super organized and moving into it. But
I think there's something where I find there's like a tool from Jobs to be Done called the timeline, which is like you're basically figuring out what is the process that someone goes through to purchase a product and try to get like a job done, like an activity done. And sometimes this is a very like, a discrete task, like, find a project management tool for my podcast, right? Like that might be your goal there. But like it could be a much larger goal of like having a successful podcast, promoting our brand, recruiting employees, right? Like, maybe it's like from Matt's finding new clients, right? But like I think what I find really helpful about it is structuring those conversations, actually kind of like we were talking about with Aaron before, like what are your goals and like how are you going to structure the specific kind of touch points in there? Like looking at those touch points, you're saying that like you probably need to get people who are early on in the process. But I find if you go into an interview with this, like there's a specific drawing of it, of the timeline of those like triggering sort of events, you can then go to those moments and see, okay, like, do we have opportunities there? So like when you were saying it's probably podcasts who are earlier on, I was like, okay, so that's interesting. Like, I wonder if there's like a distribution opportunity here where like, should Outro be integrated into the podcast platform? So like when somebody's like first getting it set up on, Transistor or whatever, right? Like, is there an Outro integration so that like when this person's getting this podcast going, before they've got their super sophisticated Trello setup going on, right? Like, and I think that's one of the ways you can use interviews is not only to be figuring out what should I build, but also like, how do I actually get this thing in people's hands? How do I make it something that they're going to be happy with? How do I find them at like these
Yeah.
key moments when they're going to be open to something else?
Yeah, that's definitely a core idea I had with the whole thing. It was definitely like working with the podcast hosting platforms to try to get into that loop in various ways. So I've talked to Justin a little bit about it for Transistor, but yeah, I think even the other platforms too, at some point, like I think that would be a logical time to get people in. It's like get organized, get up and running right at the beginning. So you're doing it kind of the right way rather than just being like, here's my empty podcast hosting account and like, what do I do now? Sort of vibe. It's like it can be that tool that helps you transition there. So yeah, absolutely. But I love that idea of like just even there's probably all kinds of other steps like that along the way, right? Like even later on, like, okay, well now we've got 1,000 listeners a month. Now we want to sell sponsorships. How do I get, what's that transition point and what's going on there in people's minds? And how do we interject ourselves into that point of their journey and things like that? So, yeah.
Yeah.
Have you
Yeah.
have you done any of this stuff, Aaron, with like with kind of the courses?
Not really. I
Mm,
mean, I've talked to some, I've talked to some individuals about like what they need, but not in like a formal way. And I've had a lot of
yeah.
people ask me like, "Hey, can you do a video about this or something like that?" But I haven't done any. What I definitely haven't done is gone to like engineering managers and said
Mm.
like, "Hey, what does your team need? Like, what do you see as like a missing education link or anything like that?" That would be helpful.
Yes,
I
Michelle.
have a missing engineering link.
Yes, tell me.
There you
Okay.
go.
All right. So a founder friend of mine, he runs this company called Front End Mentor,
Yep.
which is all
Mm,
of there's a bunch of projects for front end developers that they're already like worked through. And so the
Mhm.
idea is that you can give this to a junior developer and like teach them how to build new features through these sample projects. So it's like you're sort of getting the textbook, but then there's also the worked examples in it. And it's partly like for people who are, developers and trying to learn stuff, but then also for companies. And so like we're using it here and like one of our developers has access to it. And when he has extra time, he goes and does projects in front end mentor.
Hmm.
And I'm like, I need Laravel mentor, like
Hmm.
front end mentor,
mm.
amazing. I need Laravel mentor because there are so many good options for video content and like course content for Laravel, but there's nothing that's like worked projects that's like, here's how you
Interesting.
go from like a static site to Statamic. Like, here's
Mhm.
your project. Like, I need that sample project. I need
Mm.
sample Laravel projects that are not just like watching somebody do it. Like, I know there's a Marty, what's his face down in Australia, has his like get set up in Satamic in like 60 minutes talks. Like,
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
like, a talk is great, but I need like a project that somebody can actually get like their hands dirty in it and see what the right example would have been. And maybe even like,
Mm.
hey, like, okay, at this point, we're going to ask Claude to do it. And then Claude gives us this example. And like, that's
Mhm.
wrong. Here's how we fix it. Like, like I need the worked examples and I'm willing to pay for that.
That's interesting.
That's kind of even like what we saw when we talked about last week with like DHH and Once, right? It's like everybody bought Once just to literally see
Yep.
how DHH codes an app. You know what I mean? It's like I feel like there's been many times where I would totally pay somebody. It's like the video courses of like you haven't done this kind, Aaron, but like of the Laravel video series and stuff out there. It's like you're always getting these like chunks of an app. And maybe if you watch the whole thing, you could sort of get it. But then when you actually go into the sample code, it's never like a fully realized app. It's always just
Mhm.
like the most basic shell. There's no rate limiting. There's no real stuff of a real
Yeah.
app, right? So it's like a fully realized Laravel app that's just like, and there's a couple different ones, and somebody should do that. I don't know if it's
I
Aaron,
mean,
but
maybe you could
somebody
have a
should do that
video,
because it's
but there's
really
like
cool.
also like a course
Yeah, you
bit
could have
of it
videos
that's
that
like
goes through it.
walking you through, and it's like you
Yeah,
have to do these specific challenges
could be
as like,
challenges with it.
okay, like this party app, like
Yeah.
now you're gonna implement the rate limiting. Oh, we're gonna implement Stripe in it. Like this is how we do it, and
Mm.
like that, building like a back end um of an app with Laravel.
Is this front end mentor? Is that like real humans or like who's like grading the challenges, I guess, or whatever?
I
Or is it
don't
just
know how they
automated
like
in some other way?
grade. I don't know. Actually, I don't know how like they grade them, but it's more like have it's like here's the project to like create like a to do list app,
You
right?
do
And
get
like
AI powered feedback, it says, okay. Although
okay,
I
yeah.
assume it wasn't always that, but yeah,
No,
interesting.
I think that's probably new.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they have like tons of
Yeah.
sample projects. I've told this to like the founder of a company, by the way, and I don't,
Like, do
but
it,
they're
build
not
it.
like a Laravel. They're not a
Yeah,
Laravel company. So I was like,
yeah,
damn it. I was like, I'm willing to pay you,
right.
but um,
Yeah, this feels close. So I'm trying to head that direction a little bit with the
yeah,
database stuff.
Yeah,
In the like
it's true. Yeah,
the
you could be
live
database mentor.
playgrounds and stuff like that. So
yeah,
where they can
Yeah,
yeah.
actually do the hands-on practice. But the whole like
Huh.
the entire project-based thing, like kind of decoupled from videos. Like, hey, there's a course, but there's also a project-based challenge or something like that. That's pretty interesting. I like that idea.
I really like, I don't know, I kinda like this positioning on it almost of like, I mean, you've built all the parts, like, you have the ephemeral database builder, and it could have you could load them up with data, right? And you could have
Mhm.
challenges, and I don't know, there is something there of, like, it being beyond just, like, the video. Not just, like, this is a thing that accompanies the video, but this is, like, a major feature of why you'd want to do this, because this is how you keep your team fresh and, like, how they learn about security vulnerabilities
Right.
interactively, right? And all that kinda stuff, and you have the AI feedback and blah, blah, and we've set up these, experts have created these challenges, on the database platforms and blah, 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 like,
yeah.
something
I mean,
there.
I feel
It's
like,
kinda
and there's like
different.
there's so much
It's kind of
energy
different.
in the Laravel
Mhm.
world right now. I
Yeah.
feel like there's so many people like getting into Laravel. I mean, there always is, but like I feel like now, like the last year or two, more than ever, more and more people getting into Laravel.
Mhm.
Like I feel like there's a huge opportunity for this, and I'm willing to pay for it.
Okay, that's what I like to hear.
If
I'm
you wanna
paying
do the Laravel version.
$150. I'm paying $150 a year for front end mentor, and I already been like, Matt, this is too cheap. Charge me more.
That's awesome.
Wow, that is cheap, $150 a year, yeah, that's pretty
Yeah,
cheap.
yeah.
Interesting. I don't know, somebody out there is gonna do this for Michelle. There you go, everybody's looking for ideas.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I know Jeffrey has started doing more like, practical stuff on Laracasts where you can like
Mm,
run code and stuff like that. And so I wonder if he's headed that direction for Laravel content, the more like not
mm,
I don't know if it's even assessments, but the hands-on practice type stuff. I'll be curious to see what direction he goes with, because I know that, he can run PHP code, from the browser, not in the browser, at this point.
mm.
So I wonder if he's thinking that same thing.
Hmm, I haven't seen that, you could do that over there. It's been a little
Yeah,
bit since I've been in there.
he's got a little playground thing.
I mean, make a ton of sense for his brand and everything for it to be an offshoot, but I don't
Mhm.
Yeah.
know how if he has time or like is he like a one man shop doing all that?
Not anymore.
No, he's got
He
some full-time employees.
he's got
Okay.
several full-time employees,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
full-time instructors and editors and like graphics people. He's like I don't know how
Oh,
many of those are full-time, but I know that some of the instructors are and some of the editors are.
Yeah. It's quite an
nice.
operation over there.
It
Yeah.
really is. Yeah.
Well, Jeffrey,
Oh,
if you're
man.
listening, here's a new product idea for you.
There you go, there you go. Oh, man. Alright, well, what else you up to? You didn't give us a Geocodio update. What about a little
Yeah,
Geocodio update
Geocodio
before we
update.
wrap it up? Yeah.
Right. So what we do is geocoding, if you didn't guess by the name.
It's a great
And
name. I love the
Apparently,
what
name.
is geocoding, Michelle?
geocoding.
It's so
Well, so
data-y. I love
Aaron,
it.
a computer does not understand an address. It only
Mm,
understands coordinates. So what we do is we take addresses and turn them into coordinates so a computer can understand them. Then we also take coordinates and turn them into addresses so a human can understand them. And the big difference for us is A, we actually let you store the data in your database. So like Google, for example, doesn't let you do that. A lot of people don't know this
mhm.
and they're violating their terms without realizing it
Mhm.
and could get shut down.
Mhm.
But so we actually let you store it in the database. We also have a bunch of extra data. So, for example, maybe you're not making a map, but you need to know somebody's time zone or their congressional district or statistical data, household income where they live, right? So you can kind of come to us, and because we're really good at building complex data pipelines, you can get all the data from us and then your data pipeline can be easier. So that's what we do. Um, Updates on our side, I guess actually I got to use Lara Jobs for the first time recently. Yeah, shout out. Because we're hiring a marketing manager right now. So actually, if anybody out there knows a marketing person who knows how to communicate about API products, let me know.
Challenging
that's a niche of a niche.
Pretty exciting. Yeah, but there are, I mean, those people,
they're
like,
out there.
There's
They're
product
out there.
marketing people at software
exist.
companies.
Yeah.
But that actually, I mean, so we're speaking of like teams and everything. So, you know, just started out with just me and Matthias 12 years ago, and ran it as a mom and pop software shop for a while, and then started hiring people in 2022. We're 5 people right now. We're going to 7 on October 1st. And then we're adding a marketing person. So we're going from 5 to 8 basically in like a 2-month period.
Wow, big change.
So yeah, it's fun stuff in Geocodio land.
Wow, that's gonna be quite a culture shift, you know, even from like, I mean, it's almost more than 50% more people. That's a lot of people.
Yeah. Luckily, like, I've kind of been through that before. Like, my first job, I worked at an agency, and I think in my first year there, it went from like 5, 6 people to like 10. And so, yeah, it's gonna be it's gonna be a big jump. And like, I mean, one of the people coming on October 1st has been a contractor for a while, so like, it's not gonna be like that different, but they're just gonna be like a full member of the team. But yeah, even still going from 6 to 8 is, you know, percentage wise a big jump. Like, how many people do you have, Ian?
We had a person leave recently, so now we are at 4 of us full time, and then you know, Jamie's part time, and sometimes I hire out some stuff. So yeah, we'll probably hire somebody else though here. I don't know. I'm waffling on exactly when, but soon-ish we will probably be hiring another person. But yeah, so we'll be back to 5 full time.
That's
all right. That's a nice number. That's a nice number. I don't want it to be too big. I think the like 10 range is kind of perfect. Like 10, you have enough people that you could totally disappear for like a fair stretch of time, and like you're probably
go on a vision quest.
Fine. Yeah, you could go on a vision quest for a month, you know, and like everything's gonna be totally fine. You know, our size now, it's like, I mean, it's all the day-to-day stuff is totally fine if I disappear, but there's still like businessy stuff that only I do or whatever, which is not, you know, I wouldn't mind if there was a kind of somebody on that end of things, but besides that, yeah, it's fine. That's good.
Do you have any advice for me as somebody going from 5 to 8?
Oh geez, I don't know. It's been a while since we were at like 7, I think, at the biggest, back when like Taylor and Eric worked here, and we had more on the dev end. But
employed all the Laravel greats. Like, did Matt work for you at some point too? Like,
no, I worked with Matt on some stuff, and Matt never worked for me. But yeah, it's kind of crazy.
You're such a Laravel incubator over there.
Yeah, the OG. I don't know. It's been too long. I have no good advice for you on this. Like, you're gonna be fine. I'm not worried about you. It's gonna be great.
I'm not worried about me either, but maybe you've got some lessons learned
I would
for
say,
me.
I mean, I would say
some dad advice.
My dad advice actually in these situations is to be cautious on the financial overextending, because like, you know, the market dips a little, your sales go down a little, you raised your salaries up a little farther than you thought you were going to, and or even now it's fine, but like every year people get raises, right? And you're giving people raises, and then 3 years from now, like if sales are flat and you're giving people raises, and now you start to get a little more in that crunchy zone. So, you know, I don't think you're gonna have any trouble there, but that is something that you do see, and I've experienced as well at times. So I think there is something, you know, with bootstrapping, it's tricky, right? Because there's no other money. There's just like, this money used to be profit, and now it's expenses, and it's not my money anymore. And you have all these commitments, and all of a sudden salaries are increasing every year, and blah, blah. And like, then you're like, oh, wow, the money went away faster than I expected it to. So yeah, kind of that, because there'll be a big salary difference, you know, in your payroll. So that's kind of the main thing. But yeah, you guys are gonna rock it. I mean, I think you're gonna make so much more money now that it's not gonna be
That's the plan, you know.
Yeah, that's the plan, right? So
that's always the plan.
But yeah, I mean, liquidity is freedom, right? Or I don't know, liquidity is liberation, perhaps, to make it alliterative. Like,
there you go. But also, I mean, we even talked
and I
about
think it's
this
kind of why we've been so like holding back for so long in hiring, really wanting to make sure that like if I hire somebody, like I know that I can employ them for the next 5 or 10 years. And so like we've got, you know, knock on wood. Hopefully this desk is wood. You know, we've got the cushion there.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing too, is it's like, that's always the trade-off with bootstrapping too, right? It's like, I could buy time with this money. So that's the other thing. It's like, well, if you once you're at 6, 7, 8 people, yeah, now I can go on vacation and not be stressed. Or if something happens in my life where I need to only work 20 hours a week for a while, like you have the team that can cover you. So yeah, so that's always like the continuum you're balancing too, right? Is like those sorts of issues.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing when we were able to go away without I was able to travel out my laptop for the first time a couple years ago, and then
Ooh,
we took
yeah.
a trip and Matthias left without his laptop, which was I mean, this is a guy I mean, I have
Yeah.
so many memories of family trips to theme parks, and Matthias is standing in line for a ride, SSHing into a server.
Oh.
So many. I mean, it's like a running joke of
Right.
are you gonna have to get into the servers?
Right.
Yeah, I think not having that
That's
stress,
huge, yeah.
at a certain point, it's yeah, it's worth having a lower take home pay so that
Right.
we can actually enjoy the vacation.
Yeah, you can have at least
Yeah.
10 hours in a theme park without literally carrying your laptop with you
Attempt to
in the
enjoy
theme
it,
park.
right?
Yeah.
Can be as overwhelmed as everybody else, but not
Right.
have work on top of that would be nice.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think it was awesome having you on here. Thanks for being the first of our new era of sweet hangs, as Aaron coined for us here.
It's
And
pretty good. I
yeah,
like it.
it
It's
was
pretty
great. It was
good.
good. Yeah.
Aaron
So
did get a
everybody,
few words in, so that was
I
good.
did. I
He
got a
got a
few words in.
couple.
I enjoyed the show as an audience member. This was really pleasant for me. So I appreciate you letting me tune in.
so check out Geocodio. Check out the updated. We didn't really get into this too much, but the updated version of
Oh yeah, I read a
Deploy
book.
Empathy. Yeah, you refreshed your book, but it's like, if I recall, it's more than just a light refresh. It's like you really
Oh
got
yeah,
in
no,
there and updated.
it's a big update. Yeah, there's updates to there's new chapters. There's a chapter on using AI with customer research, very relevant to what we talked about. There's
Hey,
a whole
okay.
chapter on
I gotta
running
get.
your own customer interview workshop, because I wrote the book originally for basically my developer friends who didn't know how to talk to their customers, or as some people jokingly call it, social skills for developers. And then, but it turned out that product and design leaders, they needed a book to be able to teach their teams how to interview. And I was like, oh, they've got enough books. They don't need another one. And no, they did. And so there's a whole chapter for them on running workshops, but there's updates across the book. There's an update to one of my favorite chapters, which is on the neuroscience of listening and what happens when somebody listens to you about your experience. But then also I found another study on what happens when curiosity is piqued. Which is the experience of the interviewer, which I thought was very interesting. I did leave the heart of the book alone, which is the how to talk so people will talk section. So that was left alone. But yeah, there's a new edition of it. I'm speaking at MicroConf Europe next week related to the book. I'm going to be doing a book talk in London in January. Probably other stuff coming up soon. So if you run a conference and you want to teach developers how to talk to people, I'm your girl.
Okay, cool. Well, we'll put the link down below also. So get the book. Yeah, we will see everybody soon.
Thanks for having me, guys. This was really fun.
Thanks for being here. This was great.
Welcome. Thanks. Yeah, I don't know. Do I do my normal outro? It's
I don't know, man. You got to
It's
figure
new.
something
You
out.
do your outro?
Do your normal. Do your normal.
You got to do your outro.
Check us out at mostlytechnical.com. Sponsor the show. Maybe we'll have a guest read your ad. That would be amazing. And check us out on social media, all those things, YouTube, and we'll see you soon. Talk to you later.